Hi folks, welcome to the channel. Continuing on from last week's video on how to shoot fast and accurate with a red dot sight or a scope, today specifically we're going to talk about how to achieve lightning fast shots with a scope. I'm Jimmy with Rhino Tactical, and you're going to learn something today. Now, quickly acquiring targets and high-speed target acquisition is a little bit different with a rifle scope than it is with a red dot sight. Extreme speed target acquisition with a rifle involves using equipment and techniques that allow for rapid and accurate aiming, especially in moving and dynamic situations. Now, this can be achieved through the proper equipment setup, as we spoke last week, understanding the basic sight shooting fundamentals of how to look through the scope when you're actually acquiring sights, making sure that your equipment has proper eye relief and is set and it won't move. And third of all is through dry and live fire training principles and how to look over the scope on close targets so that you don't have to keep going back and forth, zooming in and out with your rifle. So on a rifle with a rifle scope, first off, let's talk about equipment setup. Now, you got to make sure that this thing is properly mounted. So before you zero in your scope, you want to make sure that everything is tightened down, and you want to make sure that you have correct eye relief with the focus ring focused in on your eye. Now, typically it is about 2 to 3 inches back. You don't want it too far backwards where you have to get too much parallax, or you don't want it too far forward. The same thing could happen with too much parallax. Means that you can't focus and it's out of focus when you come in, and you cannot look at the reticle accurately without glazing of the scope not being in the correct position. So after you make sure and you double check that everything is tightened, the next thing you want to do is make sure it's zeroed in correctly. Okay. And again, like I said, make sure you have correct eye relief as you're looking down it. Before I forget, one last thing that you want to make sure on your scope is make sure that it is level this way, that it's not tilted, and that you are plumb, which means that the vertical line is correctly straight up and down. So you want to make sure that you are level horizontally and plumb vertically. If for some reason your scope is tilted like that, it's going to have a huge impact on where you put those sights, and it's going to be very, very difficult to zero in this scope. So the next thing we want to talk about with a rifle scope is the proper way to handle a rifle once you get practiced in and once you want to acquire high-speed targets at target acquisition. So the first thing, obviously, is proper rifle handling. You want to make sure that you have a consistent mount, whether it's down here, whether you're carrying it on a sling, whether it's on your back, whether it's from here and up. You always want to make sure that you have the consistent cheek weld, cheek to eye relief, just straight in. Make sure it hits the same spot every single time. Even here, you always want to make sure that it comes to the same spot, okay? So this involves finding a comfortable and stable position, obviously, and also get your stance and your grip ready to go. Whichever way you want to shoot, make sure that you are in your correct stance, whether it's bladed. Some people like to blade, and a lot of people who utilize bulletproof vests and military vests also go straight onto the target so they can come up really quickly, as well as switch hands. So you always want to make sure, practice both ways. The cheek weld is a huge factor in making sure that you train correctly. Okay, so make sure you have proper eye relief, like I spoke before, and make sure that you are well practiced this way to come up, or on the bottom of the scope this way, straight up. Okay, just make sure you practice those things. Just like in archery, and I spoke before about last week on red dot sights, make sure that you have the same cheek weld every time. Like an archer would bring it here, or he would bring, excuse me, to the chin, one way or the other. He would just keep going like this, and the same is accurate. Same here to here, here to here. Okay, that's what it involves. You want to make sure that you are well practiced in proper rifle handling to get the most and the quickest version to get yourself to high-speed target acquisition. So third point, let's talk about using the scope with a reticle in high-speed target acquisition. First off, remember, with a magnifying scope, in a recent video, I spoke of leaving the optic on max magnification while shooting. This technique is called dimming the scope, in which the shooter acquires your targets similar to a red dot sight using both eyes open. This can be done by looking slightly through the scope while keeping your off-scope eye looking at your target. Okay, so focus on the target first, and then bringing the reticle to its common technique. So if I'm here, then I'm looking at my next target and I swing over. I'm looking at my next target and I'm swinging over. Now, This is on full zoom, okay? You don't have to keep going back and forth. If you learn to practice on full zoom, again, I am acquiring the target with my left eye and I am superimposing the reticle through the magnified scope with my right eye. Now, it's going to seem interesting because it's obviously easier if you go to 0 magnification, but if you get your eyes used to it, remember, you can train your eyes to do anything you want through practice. So if I practice utilizing full magnification and utilizing my eyes to swing around, you can acquire incredibly fast target acquisition by keeping your scope on full magnification and just acquiring your targets. That means that you can actually go through a course or pick up targets faster without having to go back and forth. Remember, in each case, like I said before, high-speed shooting is equated from high-speed seeing. So high-speed seeing means high-speed shooting. The faster that I could see through my rifle scope and acquire my target with my reticle superimposed on it, the faster I will be able to shoot my rifle scope. So the fourth thing that I wanted to talk about of shooting a rifle with a rifle scope is practice, practice, practice. Guys, you have to practice if you want to increase your target acquisition skills and speed, okay, on how to acquire those targets. You have to practice every day. Pick up the rifle and just practice. You could do this 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Just do reps, okay? Practice shifting over. Do a different type of rep. Practice shifting over. Look your eyes, shift. Look your eye, shift. You know what? Look with your eyes and shift. So do this 10 minutes a day and you will be surprised how fast your target acquisition skills go up. So by focusing on these elements of live and dry fire, in consistent practice in a safe, controlled environment like a shooting range, target shooters can improve their ability to acquire targets with a scope on a rifle. So again, you have to practice with live fire and dry fire. But if you can't get out to the range very often, it's okay. A lot of the pro shooters, we do about what's called 95-5, which means we dry fire 95% of the time, and then we go out to the range 5% of the time. Now, if all you have to do is dry fire, trust me, if you don't shoot for 2 or 3 weeks, you will notice that your skill level will be higher because visualization and patterning your mind to follow the way you're going to live train will also let your skill level go up twice as fast. So you would be surprised what dry firing can do. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video and we invite you to like and subscribe to give us feedback so we can continue these informative tactical and shooting videos. Hope you enjoyed it and we'll see you guys on the next video.